Today I'll be showing you how to build this super fast and compact 5x5 piston door, which closes in only 0.45 seconds and opens in 0.9. At a volume of only 858 blocks, it is the smallest for its speed, tied with only one other door. The space you're going to need to build this will be 6 wide, 13 long, and 11 tall. This is what you're going to need to build this. These are wiring blocks, and this is also what you're going to need. These are 30 stackable items. These are your door blocks, and these need to be stairs, they can't be slabs. So to get started with your layout, you're going to place 2 pistons upwards for double extender, 2 more over for a fold, 5 blocks there, that's going to be the bottom of your door, normal piston there, sticky piston, piston upwards with any gravity block like sand, gravel, or concrete powder. And then on the other side, you're going to have another piston, and then a piston there. Now I'm going to briefly walk through the closing and opening sequence of the bottom, since it's slightly different than Game Soul and Lum's 858. So first you want to insert the block, then you push this over, and then you push that up, this over, and then push that up. And then in the opening, the top will push it down, and then on move 1 you do a chain for that, push this over, and then you just retract it up. Slightly different than in the other 858 because the other 858 pushes it up first and then pushes over. It's pretty similar. But this is what allows the bottom to actually be possible for 2 high 0.45 close. And now we just continue our door frame. We go up 5 blocks, over 5, and then down 5. And for the sides, we have 4 double extenders like that. And then we have 1 sticky piston and 3 normal pistons. And then another normal piston there. We have 4 door blocks there. And then we have, that one can be transparent and these 2 can be any solid block. And then we have 4 more sticky pistons there. The other side is pretty similar, but without that weird extra piston there. So we have 4 here, same 4 on this side, but the only difference is the 4 blocks here. These 2 can be solid. Those two have to be solid, and those 2 can't be transparent. And then we have 4 normal pistons like that. And now for the top layout, we have a single, 2 doubles, a 2 singles, a double, 2 singles, but it's not a double, it's a triple because you fold it with another one there. And then a normal piston there with an obsidian there. The top and bottom layouts were created by Soulbanished for the first 0.9858. You're also going to need some sliders for powering the sides, the pistons when they are here. So you're going to want a piston here, an observer. Any white glass in this build can be any block, but I just prefer using glass because it looks nicer. And on this side you have a piston and observer facing into that piston there. You can have 4 glass. This one needs to be solid. 2 observers like that. This is something used in the 858, which is used to power one of pistons in the top. And this side have a slider which goes there, 4 blocks there, solid one, and then a piston there. Inside you have your snap, and then 5 blocks there, and a piston on top. Okay, now I'm going to start with our input line, but first I'm going to place some obsidian here so that nothing messes up while we're working on the bottom, because we're going to start with that. is where your input's going to be. So you're going to want an observer facing this way, another observer facing this way, lab, block there, and dust on all those. Another block here with a detector rail, and then you have an instant repeater here. The main reason I have to be obsidian is so that this doesn't mess up. The reason this piston is here is to act as immovable for long enough that this doesn't update. And then we have block there, block there, and 2 blocks there. A slab staircase here, and all those. Two more blocks there, and that's that side done, except a little bit over here, which is a copper, and there, that's on top of both of those. And then for the other side, we have a different kind of instant repeater, kind of like a sideways one. So we have a sticky piston that's some blocks there, so that this one would normally get flooded, but this one probably does instead. And then we have 3 blocks there. Note block, dust on all those. Block there, and then a slab surface, and then 2 more blocks there, and just put dust on. And actually 1 more block here. That's the ceiling block. So that is the input line done. Okay, now on to the bottom. We're gonna start off by placing a glass pane here. That's gonna mess this, but we can just reset that. We're gonna need an observer there anyway, so I shouldn't have to reset that. Now we can reset it. I'm gonna place an obsidian here because we're gonna put a 3-tick repeater here, and first we already have this 0-tick done, but now what we have to do is power this one a couple of microticks later, which the instant repeater already gives quite a bit of bed to do that, so we can just place the target here and that'll work. However, in some locations it won't update, so to get around that you just put a piston there, which it has more than just one purpose, but one purpose is to update that 1 microtick after this powers. And then you add a redstone block here. Oh, whoops, this is supposed to be a note block. That's so that it'll update a piston there in case the target block turns off after. And that'll give it 1 more microtick so that the updater will actually have a chance to do something in the case that it would need to. And yeah, let's see what happens now. It will do the chain and then it'll push up, because this doesn't do anything currently. But so basically what's happening is this powers at 0.1 because of this glass pane, but it doesn't get an update, and we need to update it at 0.15. And to update it at 0.15, there's this weird system in the bottom which I will temporarily add, not fully, but you have that piston in this block. So basically this powers and it powers it, and it doesn't update that SIM card. If I update it, it'll clock, but basically that updates it as 0.15, as you can see. It will clock, but that won't be a problem later. Now, yeah, it's opening. It won't really work. And it'll clock again because this one took that. And yeah, so let's just reset that real quick. And so now what we have to do is push in this using this observer. So the way we do that is with one of the sliders from the side, which we have a note block here, an observer there. Let's come back and note block. You think that that would update it of pushing it down, but it actually doesn't, because this block is still being moved at that point due to slider priority. You want to go 3 blocks up, and then this is where we get out our stairs. We want the stairs to be facing this way, 2 of them there, and then another piston there facing down, and you want the stair facing that way. So when I break this, it'll update the observer. You want to put the observer there. We'll get out our light blue bulb. This is kind of part of the top piston. Another stair which we want to place like that, going that way, and then dust on top. These stairs will be used later, but I now kind of look like a mess. So now, when I power that, it'll push down. It'll fire twice, which kind of usually doesn't really do anything, to be honest. So this observer updates it to 0.1. So on the opening, it'll actually fire twice, because this observer turning off at 0.35 will update it again. But we'll end up powering with 0.3, so it doesn't matter. But temporarily, I'll just add on this so that it'll stop it. And now we add, the reason that there's a note block there is so that it'll update this when it returns. Otherwise, without the note block, it wouldn't on the return. And now it should push in that block, and it'll also adjust it. Oh, whoops, I didn't have that. Hold on, give me a second. Set this. Like that. Set this up for the closing. Yeah, so it'll push that in. It'll also clock that, but that doesn't matter. Yeah. Okay, so now we need to push in the fold, which we do from this note block. Have piston faces in this way, which is also used to update this slider to 0.2. So this is powering, but up here we have that, which will lock it, and then it'll push back down later. For right now, I'm still gonna have it sit in there though. So yeah, that'll push in. So the closing should in theory work once we get this set up. Yes, but it'll clock that. On the opening, this solidly powers, but it depowers a couple microticks before the top pushes down, so it doesn't matter. Right now it does that, but that's because now we will do our Geotick Gen. But now for our Geotick Gen, in the bottom at 3 game ticks and 15 game ticks, we are going to we're going to take that from this side slider just like we did for that side, kind of. So this slider is actually lower than the other one. So we want a block there, 3 blocks, a redstone block, another block, redstone block, piston facing downward, copper, a zero. Actually, that's going to be yellow because that's part of the side, technically. Yeah, so push back down. No, you want, yeah, you do want to stick with 0 and 2 tick, and it hits here. And this will also be where all your microtick training is for the top. Currently, this is only 5 microticks, so you're going to need one more from here. It's just for the top. We put a target there. Let me just take a bit from there, which we'll use later. And then we'll move the block there. Need a comparator, a furnace, put one item inside that, which will give you that one extra microtick you need. In some locations it might give you 2 more, but that doesn't really matter. Because, yeah, they'll give you 6 microticks into there, which is just enough for it to be reliable. Now, we have our Geotick Gen, so we have a log there and a leaf. You notice here, oh, it's a block. Update it. It doesn't update it in the file image, but it will get updated later. That way we can give it more delay without it automatically updating. So we'll update it 3 game ticks, or 7 game ticks, to be extended, which that's too early. We want to get 10 game ticks. So we update it later using a slider, which is used for the top, putting 0 down, block, 0 block, 0 facing that way, piston, facing down, and then observer there, which will update it 10 game ticks. Like that. Yeah. And now, that's a solid block there, dust. Now here's where our Geotick Gen is, which the other one is a sticky. There. On the closing, we'll actually want it to be over like that. Any block here, like glass or something. We do want to power that. Whoops. Block it. No, I'll wait to do that. Closing, it would be that. And that should be that part of the Geotick Gen. So that should work. Yeah, but doesn't push over. Stop block. And then we do a short pulse back. So then it'll reset this in the closing. Oh yeah, I forgot. A hopper and 2 servers with a block there. That is one of the main reasons. Okay, now I'm going to place an obsidian there. That way in the closing it won't push up. But, however, that does actually still work just fine. So 3 observers from this slider into there, which pushes it back at 0.30. And then, let's just get that out of the way so that we don't have to reset that clock thingy over again. No, you don't have to block it. Observer there. Let's like this block here. Grab a torch, put it there. Then we need a lamp. And get over there. We also need a block there. And then from there, that would be 9 game ticks, 11 game ticks, 13 game ticks, and 15 game ticks, which this will be powered 15 game ticks, but this will power slightly before. Okay, now we're going to test and see what works, but first we're going to tie that over so it blocks. Okay, so just that. And the opening should actually work too, I think. Nope. Oh, missing block, I think. But besides that, you can see that that did reset. Now, the reason that this power slightly before is actually tile type priority. I'm pretty sure the observers are before, I believe. There's something wrong with them. Also, we need 2 observers there, block there, and we also need a block there. And that should be the bottom done, I believe. No. Oh, we still need the slider bit, which also does part of here. Yeah. Just that, and we also need a glass pane. Or it can be like iron bars or something. It can't be a wall. Or this, but I lost it. Oops. That is a clock. Stop. Fix this little hole here. Yeah. Should be our whole bottom done. Okay. Okay, so now we will start work on the right side. So move this obsidian, and we're going to make the same typical slider that most 1.05s use. With that, and this yellow wolf, that's our color for the side. Oops, not shovel instead. There and there. Redstone block there, glass there and there, and then down to fire. So extract. So this is an updater for it, but it also gets powered. That's the updater that I talked about from earlier to update this. One more click later. But normally you would power this at 0.2 both edges with some bed. But since it's 0.45 closing, you need to fire it at 0.15 on the closing. And to do that, you need to add an extra little log and leaf thing. Here, right? Yeah. Which, put a log leaf there. Now there are actually some problems with this, which I can easily fix in the bottom, but the extra bed we have a dropper and a hopper. Put an item in that to silence it. That'll be used for later. Observer. Up at 2 ticks and follow bed. Need 2 pistons of bed. And 1 milk block. And fortunately I cannot silence it within the main box. If you want to silence it, it'll be an extra layer. That's not required. Observer there, pilot 2.3, so you don't need that anymore. Yeah, so that should push it down as 0.5, and then the problem with this is that this fired at 0.25 on the opening, or 5 game ticks. So it'll fire at 4 game ticks and 5 game ticks. It'll give it a 3 game tick pulse. So it'll push down and it won't update. Now the way of getting around this is by updating it at 0.4, which I just do with this wall. So basically this depowered at 0, so repowered at 0.1, but the observer will still be on cooldown. But the piston depowering at 0.2 updates to 0.3, and the observer turning off 0.4 updates the slider. To send it back up. So now, well, we need observer there, and observer there. The side closing and a bit of the open branching. Oops. Oh dear. It's just sitting. Oh, right. We don't have the bit that powers that piston. So we need 1 observer there. This needs to be a hopper. 1 observer is there. An observer there, which so that'll turn off at 0.3. And so this sticky piston can't extend until 9 game ticks, but at that point it's dead during piston movement, so it won't update, which works just fine. Need meaningful. There. More back up. Put a piston there. Oops. Oh, I forgot a block there. Piston there, sticky piston. Then it, yeah, now, yeah, but that's currently at the speed of a 1.05. So, let's say 3 game chips, you add the electric slider, which goes right here. Piston there, piston there. That'll be updated over there. Like the exact same as the other one. Now, to power it, we'll come over here. Oh, right, we need 1 more block or stair. Okay, hopper. Block there. And yeah, that'll push down to 0.2. So we'll trigger at 0.4. But now for the sliders. This slider is already done actually. But this one is not. So finish this one off. We just run that in like that. To power this, we have just there. should be sliders done. Yeah, so, but we need a block there. Like, uh-oh, that gets me. Oh no, it's just the wall, okay. Okay. Yes, okay, what does that? I can just push it back and give it back. Which, conveniently enough, we need from here. Target. Conveniently enough, you don't need any updater here because this dust turns off. Actually, no, these pistons updated too. Because that also powers the pistons to the top. Yeah, that's a trick the A5 used. Using that sliding power. Okay, so yeah. Now the right side should be done. Okay, now we're gonna work on the other side, but first I'm gonna say this doesn't need to be a target. Okay, but now we move our obsidian. And we work on the other side, which we already got this vertex spider. Okay, but first let's build this slider, which uses a similar setup, and actually it's the exact same setup as the A5, which does this, which this powers that, so that it'll toggle out and closing. Actually, put it one higher. And this is where we get our bed. We only need one. That's because the observer powers slightly later due to it being a piston. Pushing that. Use the same exact log thing for. And again, it gets 3 integral, so we'll need an update. And you'll need to update. But all you do is put that, and that'll update it at 0.4. We need a tripwire hook. Place that there. Lab there, dust on top. There's dust on top of that as well. Okay, and then we have one. Wait, no. Oops, I'm making a mistake. Is there? Put that there, and this is where you put the piston, because that's not bigger. Worth mentioning on the other side, this updates, I don't know if I mentioned that, that updates at 0.35, which is needed to, yeah, push back over. So I just reset that. Give you that 0 tick done. And all we need to do is push this down to 0.2, which we can do from here with a block there, over there, whoa, a block here, don't know if I need to do anything, heater, which will power out at 0.2. But luckily this thing sets that up to lock that closing. And then we need to push this one down. Done. However, We do need to. Okay, so this is where our campfire comes in. We don't actually need a campfire. It could be no block, but that's lame. Why would I do that? And I think campfire is kind of cheaper too. You don't need to extinguish that with a shovel. The reason why it does that is campfire. If you look there, it says signal fire. True. Right screen. And that would change the. Oh, we don't need that yet. But also, we don't even need the campfire at all yet. All we really, literally just need is two observers into there to power that 0.4. Now we're going to test the closing. Everything looks good. Oh, yeah, there's still a couple more things I forgot. So we need to place a glass pane there. Can move stairs, but and so we got that updated. Actually, that's the yellow. And then here we place block, retake repeaters. With that block there, it'll up to 0.4. So we just want to power that. The 0.4. It won't do anything on the opening because the pistons don't cool down. So this will update that with a bit of microtips from there, which is good. Because that'll give you enough microtips to update it after this is already depowered. Yeah, that works. However, this did not push up as fast as you can, so you need a block there. That is fine. And then the final pulse into there. We take Peter there, block there. That'll power like 0.2, 0.3, 0.4. So that should be both sides done. Okay, now it's time for the top. We are nearly done now. Oh, there's just one section. So, we're going to start off with our singles, which are pretty easy. Well, actually, they are a little bit tricky because you need to sync them. You need to have them depower at 0.75, which makes it look really awesome. Yeah, so you have that. And we have our bed chain, which is also reused for the final pulse into the signal. Just have a one block there. So yeah, that'll refire that. And then for this side we have a Peter and one tick, a target. Oh, this is an observer. One tick, 2, 3, 4 tick repeater there. Oops. Piston goes the other way. I got the mistakes in this video. Target. Oops. Dust. Actually, block there. 2 tick repeater. You think this is power that map, but it doesn't really matter. Yeah, so this will turn on 0.45. Let's turn on 0.55 and turn off 0.5. So we'll, so we think that it's kind of, yeah, this will give a wonderful wheel. Well, it'll give a 1 tick and then it'll do. Wait, what? What? I don't know what happened there. Oops, this never needs to go there. I did not even think about that actually being a problem, to be honest. But yeah, it is. Okay. Now here's where you have to do some counting. You need 28 items in that. Or you can just do a cauldron, but I don't know, furnace is cheaper, I guess. You need 28 items, so just split in half. Doesn't matter what item, as long as it's stackable. This will give you 3 signal strength. So that it'll go up 1, 2, 3 and power this. A rail. But for some reason it doesn't actually run up. Even if it's solid block, it won't actually run up and power that. Which is kind of strange, but it works, I guess. Oops. Hold. What happened to the go? Oh yeah. But singles should be synced now. Oh yeah, they get a 0 tick. So they 0 tick and then they go like, yeah, they do that. It's a little janky, but it does work. But with the scroll, they go a lot better. Okay, now campfire, so we just put stuff there. And now for our cleaning, which we just have road dust, a comparator, a 2-tick repeater. Oops, I'm bad. 2-tick repeater. Yes, this would power, and this lock repeater would only lock it on the closing. And we need 2 observers there. Big piston block. Here's an observer. Oh, that's it. I can't say everything, surely. Yeah, we'll see. Oh man, that is not everything. That is not okie dokie. Darn it, that happened. Clearly it's missing something. We'll see. Oh, I think that, yeah, I know. Let me repair this. We need this. This hay bale is multi-purpose. It uncuts this at 0.15 to power it, so that. Need a block there and another tripwire to direct that. Now, I think I was missing the folds here. 1 second. that up like that. So yeah, it should be all for that. Okay, so I want to make all these solid. Keep in mind only the blocks that I placed have to be solid. Everything else can be painted. However, don't make sure not to update that. If you want to place blocks there, just close it. Hallway. Yeah, now you just built one of the best 5x5s ever created. I think special thanks to the original 858 creators. Game for You, Soulbanished, and Lamendo. I will link their channels in the description. And yeah, bye.